Jeffrey.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's Saturday. How about that?
Can you believe we're on episode 4 already?
It's just crazy.
We have too much to say.
Absolutely.
Listen, before we go on, I know that a lot of the people that I send this to are good friends. I think everybody should know that a very, very close friend of mine, one of the finest violinists in Los Angeles, who was the concertmaster of the opera. He's recorded almost every major motion picture over the last 10, 15 years. His name was Roberto Cani. He was first prize in Paganini competition, great violinist. He sadly just succumbed to cancer last Monday, and we're all, the whole community here is very, very upset about that. So if you do get a chance, go to YouTube and try to watch some videos of Roberto Cani.
And I was privileged to know Roberto, like to be with the guy at some places at his concert, and we had like dinners and lunches. So he's a great guy, interesting guy, Italiano,
Yeah.
but interesting guy. It's so sad, like the guy just gone.
Yeah, with a wonderful Russian wife and a 10-year-old daughter who's absolutely adorable.
She's CPA. All right, so let's today what we want to do, we want to talk about misinformation or lots of information about politics, about policies. How should we accept, process so much of information? What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, let's start from what was promised to us by Trump in the election, and what the result is after 8 months.
But there is
I'm sorry, 80 days.
80 days. But so let's think about this. Does Trump have a plan?
I am not convinced he does.
So let's talk about that.
Either that, or the plan is very, very messed up at this point.
But people would disagree with you, because some people, and we will discuss, or half of the America or voters, they say that Trump has a plan, which is drill baby drill, when we increase the production of oil, and we will talk about item by item. Deregulations. So let's like less regulation, less government, which is very Republican and very interesting, or could be productive, and we will talk about that. Lower the taxes, also very Republican. Why not? Why would we pay more taxes as we should? Fair tariffs, receptacle tariffs, everybody, like people who have like good business with us, no business with us, competing with us, tariff them.
Even if you're a penguin.
More so if you're penguin. And the last, maybe the least, but let's deport all the illegals. Also, like talking about manufacturing, bringing back manufacturing into the country. So these are most important kind of a plan for the government for these 4 years. Let's talk about every segment, because so much information. Republicans, some of them say like it's all good. MAGA Republicans, they crying, this is so great. And Democrats saying they're just going to the like dark days.
Well, I think now a lot of the MAGA Republicans are extremely nervous, because what they expected to happen on the first day or the first week or the first month seems to have gone the opposite direction. Why?
Why? Let's go step by step, because I have so many clients coming to me who love Trump, they believe in Trump, they're not worrying about what is going on. But let's talk about drill baby drill. So we will. Does it work? Is it what do you think about that?
All the information that I've heard and that I know about is that already the United States is probably exporting more oil.
Has been
more than most of any other country. So the question is that how much
should we increase the exploration of the oil so it will make sense?
And then what is the point of everything going electric or almost electric? We're not quite there yet, but they've got Elon Musk. He has an electric car company. Your car is an amazing car, electric car.
Yes.
So there's
Chevrolet.
yeah. So there are a lot of companies that are making absolutely incredible cars. People are experimenting with hydrogen and everything else.
So let's talk about drill, baby, drill. So the point is this, because I'm talking to my clients who, some of them MAGA Republicans, and what they thinking that if we increase the oil production, somehow the cost of oil per barrel will go down. First of all, our oil is different brand. They're crude. So to refine this oil cost more. The oil can be just explore from Pacific coast and stuff like that, like being
actually extracted.
Extracted. Yes, thank you, Jeffrey. It costs about $6 or whatever it is per barrel more. So if we just try to compete with Saudi Arabia, we will not compete. Our oil will not, nobody will buy. So we cannot overproduct, and then we will have no place to sell it, because other countries will compete with us and they will lower the cost of their oil, price of their selling price of their oil, and we will be out of business. And there are many other things. So refinery.
So basically, you're describing a new tariff war in oil.
So he's not going to do that, because OPEC will just diminish us, like they will destroy our oil production, because they have a better quality oil, cheaper to refine, so they can sell the same, like if they start selling their oil, they can more cheaper sell it. So we will not be able to compete and sell our oil, because we sell to the open market. We're not refine inside of the country. We don't have enough refineries. So drill, baby, drill. Just go to the YouTube and just...
And basically what you're saying, it's an option, but it's a future option. We're not capable to do it yet.
Yeah, we will not be able, because we have worse oil quality. We are not marketable. We cannot compete with any Saudi's oil. Russian oil in the middle between Saudis and us. So we are just lost. We cannot compete with. If we produce more, we will not be able to sell if somebody wants to lower the price of their oil.
The other side of the coin is I believe that over the next year or 2 years or 3 years, especially with the advancements in AI and everything we know, is that there's going to be, hopefully and most probably, cheaper forms of energy. And cheaper forms of energy which will not need the kind of regulation that you need in the oil industry.
But this is opposite, and this is a great point, because we don't need to produce more oil. We need to produce more intelligence, technology, to have more cars based on electric and other
more efficient vehicles,
and we lower the need for oil. This is opposite. Why wouldn't we do that based our country's ideas on technology, not third world countries' ideas of produce more of natural resources? So drill, baby, drill is not a plan. It's a failure. If you don't agree, comment, plus just research. Do the research. Next thing, we talked about deregulations. How about deregulations?
Regulation is an interesting subject. I don't know if you understand this, but the regulatory agencies are quasi-legal. Why do I say that? Because a regulatory agency can create a law, can create the bureaucracy
and corruption.
To run the regulation. They can prosecute the regulation, and they can provide the punishment if somebody breaks the regulation. That normally takes three different branches of government, but the regulatory agencies do it all. That shouldn't be that
They're
way.
monitoring.
And there's one way to stop it. There's one way to stop it, and that's if you had a court case against the regulatory agency, and the loser of the case has to pay all the legal fees, then
It goes to the government.
then most of the regulatory court cases would never even get started.
But let's talk in general, because what happens, you cannot, like, it's a big country, you cannot live without regulations. Safety, like if you're auto industry, you want like that auto industry will be regulated on safety. Or food industry, you have to, like, you want to buy something, you want to know what the ingredients are in your food. There are like forest, you want to like regulate like forest, or like beaches, all that stuff. You want like people to, from the government, to oversee what is going on. We need regulations, but there are maybe over regulations. How about that? Like
Say that again?
like over regulating something,
Oh.
when we put too much of regulations.
Yeah, well, that's been the case in so many different industries. Obviously there has to be some regulations for water. There has to be some regulations for anything that you
Employment.
Yeah,
Let me. I have a good example. Elon Musk. Elon Musk, as we hate him, we love him, like Trump, like any person, like with that kind of like two sides of personality. Elon Musk built one of the beautiful, the most important, like engineered, sophisticated factory in California. I forgot like what's the like place in California. It used to be one of the biggest, and during the COVID they shut down that factory.
I didn't know that.
And Fremont, I think, they shut it down, and they didn't let him because also because I'm trying like to make it simple to understand. In Elon Musk factories, there are fewer people working. It's all automated, and when there was COVID, we needed like less interactions with people. People would move back to homes to work from homes, and they shut down his factory. I think this is over regulations, and then they this is from the California government, and then he was offended. He went like to manufacture in China, where the regulations are lower, because you have so much regulations of labor, taxes, insurances. It has to be like well thought.
But the one thing about Musk is that he's one of the only car manufacturers whose cars that are sold in the United States are technically built in the United States. He might be getting some parts or some things from other countries, but the cars are assembled here.
No, he's got like factories in China, in Germany. It's built now. So, but the point is this: he's a brilliant manager and a technology constructor, if I can say that. But he's not good like with this sociology, like people skills. But point is this: he's an example of the regulations too much, and the government is not recognizing the beauty of the business, how business can be built, and they will not support. They didn't support him, and they turned him away, like Democrats turn Elon Musk away from themselves.
Well, right now, Elon Musk has a whole new set of problems because, with the Doge, with the Doge crew,
I think he got offended.
He's not the most popular person in the country.
Yeah, but he got offended, like in Ukraine. Like he allowed Ukrainians to use Starlink. They were at the beginning of the war, like in 2022, Ukrainian forces had an advantage over Russians because they were using satellite cell phones, because you have to communicate with units. They were very greatly benefited. But Ukrainian guys, they didn't think enough. Elon Musk, who needs like to be thanked like Trump, like, hey Elon, thank you so much. It's bad and it's good. You have to thank him. You have to invite him, and they take it for granted. So people like Elon Musk cannot be taken for granted. Even he's screwed up in the head in one side, but he's a brilliant mind from the other side. Let's move on. So deregulation.
Well, we could do a whole series just on Musk. But,
Okay.
but we want to bring up a number of different subjects in this interview.
So now like lower the taxes. How about like he promised to lower taxes? What do you think about lowering the taxes?
Where does the money come from?
Good question. Where?
In other words, who are you lowering the taxes for? The biggest complaint about Trump and everybody is that they're only going to lower the taxes for the super rich. And in the past, they always said, "Yo, but they're going to reinvest that money." And when the last time they did that, half of them just bought back their own stocks.
Very good point. So whenever you lower like everybody taxes, it's a beautiful thing. I'm repeating 2 times and sounds like I'm Trump now. Beautiful. So taxes, it's very very good knob in how you manage the country. So you cannot lower taxes for everybody because it doesn't make any sense. With taxation, you lower for specific thing. Like you remember, like the Obama did cash for clunkers, like for old cars. Clunkers. So that's a smart idea because you give money like to people to get ahead and just buy newer cars to spend less for the gas. So he promoted like buying new cars, so auto industry, and getting rid of old and just crazy cars like now. So this is how you properly use taxation. Lowering taxes forget about rich or not, it doesn't work. There is no point.
Yeah, but everybody now, of course, everybody's trying to save money on gas. The average person probably in the world, but certainly in the United States, if we can save money somewhere to bring our costs down. Now, the one problem we're dealing with now, which has to be mentioned, is that the promise of Trump was he was going to lower everybody's cost of living from day one.
Because he was like trying like to drill like to increase the production. It will not work because the thing with the oil is about refinery. It's not just how you get the oil, extract the oil.
Yeah, but oil is just one part of the equation. At some point, we have to mention that businesses, all businesses, except for the service businesses, depend on supply chains. Supply chains are what make businesses work. And so if you interrupt the supply train,
chain.
Supply train. It's actually the train also. But if you interrupt the supply chain, then businesses suffer.
And it will be talking about in tariffs. So what Trump is offering, which is nuts, completely nuts, which is like no taxes on tips. Please, guys, tips are income. Wherever the income in United States has been, it was taxed. Doesn't matter it's an income from legal or illegal operations. IRS wants your money. The best case, like if you're drug dealer, you pay your taxes. Deal with the attorney general, but you pay to the IRS. You're doing prostitution, that's fine with IRS. They will not do anything, just report your taxes. Now if you get like tip income, like it's insane. You lower the social security potential pool of monetary pool. You lower like for example, if somebody in a auto like taxi service, right?
Yeah.
And you don't pay, you pay on tips, and these guys like in the food industry don't pay the tips, income on taxes on tips. Other people would say, why we have to pay tax on tips?
And then there's other complicated things in that too when you start dealing with companies like Uber and Lyft.
That's
and
what I'm
things
saying.
like that. So are these private contractors? Do they work for the company? Do they work for
No,
themselves?
it's not about the tips. You give them tips, and they will be like they have to pay tips. This guy's not paying tips, so it's a disarray. And Trump is like anarchy. His last name not Trump, anarchy. Donald Anarchy Trump. It's middle name. Now he says like don't tax the overtime. What do you think about that?
That's ridiculous.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Per Jeffrey, it's ridiculous. If you work, it's again disarray, it's anarchy. For example, some people working on the salaries. So what's going to happen? Like, I'm working for the big company as a salaried person. I don't get like if I stay over, I don't get double time, overtime. Now, if I see people who working with me, they hourly, they will not pay taxes on their overtime. So why I have to pay for overtime? So and it will be manipulations with people paying taxes on overtime. Like for example, a person like overtime works as this: if you stay over 8 hours a day, you pay to a person overtime. I'm just like simple stuff. And then if you work more than 40 hours a week, you pay to your employee overtime. So now, if you salaried employee, you just manipulate. You just have a person work for you 2 days. Let's say you say that the person worked for you 2 days with 12 hours, and you just like manipulate with overtime. It's gonna be so much fraud on this issue. So lowering taxes, it's insane because we are like in a good like situation.
Well, the other side of the coin, of course, the Democrats just want to tax the rich and give it back to the poor, or give
Which
it back to the
also
various.
doesn't work.
Yeah. So.
But let's talk first about Trump. But also, and I forgot to say something about taxes. Okay, so like this is what's going to happen. Like we are due to Trump lowered the taxes in 2017. Now it's due to roll back those taxes. So some of that, like we need to keep these taxes as now.
So basically renew the law.
Renew the law, and that's partially what Trump calls lowering the taxes to keep the current taxes in place. He say like, you understand what I said?
Now here's the question.
No, but I want like to
No, I've got it. But now here's my question: if we're suffering an enormous deficit, which is actually at least over the last 2 weeks,
national deficit.
2 weeks, a lot of this is caused by the tariffs or whatever. But if you have this deficit, how can you give people tax breaks if we can't control the deficit?
Balance the budget. Excellent point. Let's talk about tariffs, because this is how Trump think that we can put the fill the gap in that income that United States government gets from the tariffs. You see, lowering the income taxes and getting more tariffs. He thinks in his strange mind that somehow it's equal. So talk about tariffs a little bit.
Okay, the big question is that all the people who are against the tariffs, which is a good percentage of the people in the country, are convinced that tariffs are nothing more than a tax on the citizens of this country. Now, as you can see, the tariffs have gone up, the tariffs have gone down. Every time Trump says some idiotic thing on Truth Social, people are either buying their stocks or selling their stocks or worrying about the 401ks. The 401ks are only dangerous if you sell them. stocks are only dangerous if you sell them. If you're convinced that everything's going to go up, you just sit on everything. They don't get less valuable or more valuable. You won't know what the result is for another year, or in this case, at least 9 months.
So we're talking about tariffs. So tariffs are 2% of our like income, taxation income. 2%. Last year it was $100 billion as an income for United States government. We have about $4 to $5 trillion income taxes, payroll taxes, FICA tax like Social Security, Medicare. We have excise taxes. We have other taxes from corporations, for example. So that's the income we get. Like it's about $4 to $5 trillion a year. Tariffs, it's 100 billions. So if we increase tariffs by 100%, we will get maybe to 4% of total income for the government. It's immaterial.
But again, the final question is, who is paying for these tariffs? Is it the governments? Are the governments paying for the tariffs? No.
Right, but the point is essentially this is nothing burger for the economy to talk about that. But we're talking about the whole point of this conversation is about misinformation. So much information, misinformation. Tariffs are 2% of our income as a government. It's nothing, it's pointless. Let's say we win the war with China on tariffs. So you say, okay, so what does it give us as a country? Nothing. So what's the point?
But what has it cost us as a country?
Exactly.
That's more important.
Yes. First of all, like we break all the relationships for nothing. We do like, and who's gonna pay? Like if you're a company, go ahead.
And also, if I charge you a 10% tariff, and then you charge me a 10% tariff, why do we need these two tariffs? Because they balance each other out. They're
Pointless.
worthless. Yeah.
Pointless. Even though like you're making more tariffs on me, and it's a receptacle, and this is all pointless because if you put like on China or like third world country like tariffs, like
Reciprocal. Receptacle is a switch in the wall.
thank you, no, and I appreciate it because people like, what did this guy is talking about? Please correct me.
Okay, no, I'm just joking.
This is my fifth language. Anyways, but the point is like if we win the war on tariffs with China, China is giving us cheap product. If you think that you want to do a manufacturing in a country, do first manufacturing, and then you just increase the tariffs.
Yeah.
So hold on. This is very important
Okay.
point. You do manufacturing first, create the product first, so people can switch to our product instead of putting the tariffs up when there is no substitute for the product which is not even produced or invested to be produced.
And exactly. Also, so many of the products that we get from China, we only want to get them from China.
We don't want to do that. And then
They make them cheaper, they make them better in these things.
or even not good, but like all this clothes, everything is people sitting working on that. We don't have manpower to do it, which bring us to the manpower immigration, illegal immigration.
Right.
First, we don't want to do the jobs, or we think we will do the jobs what Chinese will do in our country, and we are kicking out the people who potentially could be a labor for those companies which are not even built. But think about that. It's just crazy. So we're doing deporting illegal immigration. How are we doing on that, Jeffrey?
It's all over the board right now. It's very, like this poor kid who got
Deported.
got deported to El Salvador. And the president of El Salvador is coming to the White House on Monday. I would hope, I don't think it's going to happen, but I would hope that this guy would put this kid on the plane and bring him back so we can get rid of that whole subject. That would be the easiest thing,
I think Supreme Court ruled. I think 9-0. I think 9-0.
But a very ambiguous ruling, sadly. It was ambiguous because of their use of words.
I think no. I think they said like that. This guy should be
They all agreed he has to be brought back. Where the danger is now, in my opinion, and most opinions, is that if you ignore, if the executive branch ignores the decisions of the legal of the Department of Justice, then this could be
in trouble.
A huge tragedy.
Yeah, but let's let's talk about the vision of. We talked about the plan. Does Trump have a plan? And we're just talking about drilling, baby drill doesn't work. Deregulations. It's crazy. Like you need to deregulate something that doesn't work. You don't remove. Department of Education, then you cannot regulate the states. You need to control your country, and you just remove the complete.
Going back to the deregulation, I still think that somehow Congress should pass a law, one simple law that says if in the case of deregulation, if there's a deregulation case brought against a company or a person or something like that, the loser has to pay the legal fees. Then all the deregulation cases will be valid.
I have no clue about this. And I will take your word that it could be worked out. So tariffs, it's just a disaster. It's just like destroying the connections with the whole world. There's no point. And we talked about illegals, like illegal immigrations. In my book, read my book. There's a chapter of illegal immigrations. I'm resolving this. I want you actually to read this book. I'm resolving it because Democrats do not resolve. Republicans, you cannot kick out people. Why would you? Most of them came to work. Make it smart. It's right here. Also, let's talk about Trump doesn't have a plan. This plan is kind of like give me the word, like it's kind of, there is something there. It's a sham. It's just illusion.
The funny thing is that just before I came here, I watched the Bill Maher show because Bill Maher just went to the White House and had actually a very nice couple of hours with Trump and was shocked at how nice he was, how smart he was, which he says nobody was more surprised than he was, and he says, and also a sense of humor. He says I'm a comedian. When somebody laughs, I know if it's a real laugh or if it's a forced laugh. He actually laughed genuinely, and he has a nice laugh. He never does this in public.
Okay.
If he would act the way he acted for 2 hours in public, the whole country would love him.
Please. I don't need to love anybody. I don't have sex with anybody, like in the department of with the president and stuff like that. I don't need to love him. What is his fiscal policies? What are his fiscal policies? What they are?
Nobody knows.
Yeah, but who cares if he's likable? Who cares if he's smart? Of course he's smart. He got to be a president.
Okay, not to interrupt, but the most important
But
thing,
you interrupted.
No, that's what we're supposed to be doing. The most important thing is that, obviously all he can do is come up with a general idea, and then he has to have good people to absolutely make these ideas come to fruition. The problem is, in my opinion, is that he's put so many incompetent people in the highest levels of the government. About that. Yeah, but nothing's going to get done if they don't know how.
Of course, nobody. But the problem is that Trump is funny, Trump is this, but he's psychopath, he's crazy. So he makes you like him. Why do you think he invited Bill Maher? So Bill Maher will tell you, listen, I was surprised, Trump is great. Of course he's great. Half of the country loves the guy. But that's why we're talking about what are his essence, what his policies are. They're not working.
Okay.
They will not work.
Also, whenever he's asked about how, what is your policy? How are you going to fix this? And, the answer is always, you'll see, I'm a genius. Whatever I say is going to change everything.
Exactly.
But show us what you're going to do. Tell us what you're going to do. Write it down. Make a small paragraph saying, this is how it'll work.
But it's going to be all beautiful, drill baby drill, and it's all talking points with no substance. That's why we explain you why there is no substance. Now, what's Democrats offering? What the opposition? Do they build the opposition?
Right now, the Democrats seem to be in hibernation.
Okay.
The Democrats, also, which Democrats do we listen to? I mean, we have Cory Booker, he gave a 25-hour
Speech.
a speech at Congress. But did he accomplish anything?
No, what's his point?
Yeah.
What did he, and thank you for bringing this up. He was talking 25 hours. Where's the, what do you call it, key, jumping, what's a special word, the verb, what do we do, what should we do with this, all his speech, what was the point? Hate Trump? I don't want to hate Trump. I like the guy. Bill Maher now likes the guy. Show me the money, give me the policies, no policies. And Democrats had the only one policy.
Get rid of Trump.
No, this is not the policy. This is execution of their policy. What do they offer to American people?
It's, basically, I think that the Democrats basically offer as many services as they can, whether it's Social Security or medical services or regulatory services.
And who pays for them?
Normally, we have to pay for those.
Not we.
The taxpayer.
You're not rich enough to pay. They're not just they segregate people between rich and poor, and they say rich will pay for everything basically. And this is where we're going. So one person has to pay for another person, and it will not work because money actually not growing on the trees or not in the banks. So the Democrats, what they doing, every solution they bring, it comes to the evil corporations must pay or rich people. And I still don't know who is rich person, so I can come to a person and ask for money. Do you know any rich?
Yeah.
Who's rich? It's 100,000, 200, 1 billion. We don't know.
Now, let me ask you this: how much jeopardy is our financial system in now?
Totally.
Because what we've been reading about, one of the reasons that Trump canceled a lot of these tariffs was because of the bond market. I don't understand bonds or how they work.
But bonds, but it's just bonds. It's just what happens. It's a stability. What happens. The American government, United States government issue bonds treasury bills. Somebody buys them. They hope for the stable interest rate, and when it's not stable, they start selling bonds. But when they start selling bonds are low, going down. So your investment in the United States going down, and you lose the trust to the United States. And supposedly, when the interest goes up, other country, and people want to buy bonds.
Yeah, so it's
Hold on.
So it's a confidence game.
Yeah, but now the interest should go up, but people don't buy bonds because they have no confidence. So you want to sell or buy, but there's fewer buyers because Chinese say you know what, goodbye. goodbye United States. You understand? So, but I wouldn't be like bonds. It's like complicated. Like, let's come back that Democrats do not offer anything. They just want like destroy Trump and or see how Trump destroying himself.
Yeah, it seems to me that the Democrats, for the most part, are sitting on the sidelines waiting for Trump to sink.
Yeah, but they have nothing to offer because they say let's invest in nuclear energy, for example, or green energy. Where are you going to get the money? Rich has to pay. So they not coming with a good plan for the plans for the country to invest to do more with where we can get the profit.
Okay. The other thing that I think the Democrats, in fact, many people in the country are waiting to see if the Department of Justice is going to get some cojones and actually defend the laws of the land, in various subjects. Because right now our Department of Justice seems to be a Department of Justice that works solely for Trump. It shouldn't be that way.
But Jeffrey, we talked about like how bad the country finances of the country. So we have huge national debt. It's growing. Nobody is resolving national debt. And Trump, in 5 years and 3 years, he's going to tell us that, oh, but Democrats didn't let me do something, tariffs, that other country. But he's not resolving anything. With the tariffs, it's 2% of our income. It's not a solution. Kicking out immigrants, it's not a solution for our increasing debt. You go, for example, to some hospital, you cannot get the service. People are not happy. They living literally paycheck to the paycheck. They're not happy with what is going on, and the income that you get, it's not in Los Angeles, for example, it's not enough to kind of like think about, okay, maybe I will go like to the travel. I take 1 month or 2 weeks of a vacation. People are not happy. We need to fix our policies. We have to go to Department of Education, Department of Taxation, military. He increased the military to $1 trillion spending like for military. Insane. We need to cut military and do it smarter.
Yeah, there's like 17 or 18 bases that we don't need.
Yeah.
Not only that, but apparently I think it's 3 or 5 of these bases have golf courses.
So yeah, he's not. There is nobody. It's a disarray of information. There is a fight of do you like me or you don't like me, and but we are lost in all of this because there is nothing will work for the country. Start with this book. We need to bring people who can with a plan from the lower government to the top. We need to bring people with plans, ideas, and vote for those people. And also read about how to fix the healthcare, how to fix illegal immigration. Read in this book, and I think we're done for today.
Okay, but one thing we do know is that we have to start somewhere. I'd start with energy myself.
Start with this book to understand what is going on. You guys take
Okay,
care. Thank you so much. Subscribe. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
I think very good. We didn't.